You and I are standing guard in one of the last great open spaces. These people think that if they're tough enough, smart enough, and mean enough, all this will be there someday. There's no army of this earth that's going to stop those wagons coming, little as they're wanted.
And it is time for a little lights-camera-McCarthy, and that right there was part of a trailer for the new Western Horizon, an American Saga. It is the Kevin Costner passion project that forced him to drop out of the 5th and final season of Yellowstone. Part 1 hits theaters this Friday, but before the big premiere, well, Kevin got to sit down with the star and director to talk all about the movie and his career, and so much more. Take a look.
As I was coming here today, when I mentioned your name, there's so many different generations of people who bring up certain things, Bodyguard, Field of Dreams, Waterworld, whatever. Like, that was my generation, was Waterworld. I remember seeing that in theaters. I still have my ticket for it at home. As you look back at all the films that you've made and the people who come up to you, are there films that you're more proud of to hear about from people? Like when you hear people saying The Bodyguard or other films, are there...
Well, certainly there's films that, that I've probably made, I know. The thing I'm happiest about when people come up to me is almost kind of what you were saying. It doesn't drill down to a single movie and then 5 more of the same movie. I don't know what's going to come out of their mouth. And it could be one of 15 movies. And it could be The War. And it could be Mr. Brooks. It could surprise me. It'll be Field of Dreams, certainly. And Waterworld certainly comes out of people's mouth. But Bodyguard, JFK, it just... I feel like I'm talking to Merlin. Did I do this right? And he said, yes, because it's not one. It's been your journey.
Everything in this film tends to be a character, as I was mentioning earlier, like the score, the cinematography, the characters themselves, everything about it. But your use of landscapes is incredible to me. The actual open space, the way that the world looks in the frame. Can you talk about the idea of using the world and the actual space as a character as well to the story you're telling?
Well, you do it. It kind of lends credibility to what the dialogue says. Is that this place is bigger and longer than you can imagine, the country. Maybe that comes out in 2. But what happens is it's hard. We talk, if we're going to save 14 miles a day, then you pull back and you see the country and you understand why. And then you have to understand that wagons break down and horses die. So if you can add those little bits, people, it's all subconscious, really. Stuff like that, canyons, you go, well, how do we get around that? Without saying, how do we get around that? There's little things that happen out there that have big consequences against giant landscapes. But people live in really small ways out there, so it also gets very intimate.
Your first feature film, Dances with Wolves, which is obviously a remarkable achievement, kind of what that film did, 12 Oscar nominations, and they won 7. But what I find fascinating about that particular film is that's the first movie you directed as a feature director. And then you go Postman, Open Range, and then you're dealing with a film like this. What is the biggest lesson you remember taking away from Dances with Wolves that you're still applying to your filmmaking today? And what experience did that film give you?
I mean, I really stayed up at night on Dances with Wolves trying to think about shot lists, the other thing, in the morning shot lists. And I still do that, but I don't think I put as much pressure on myself as I did on that particular film because I just didn't know what I was doing.
All right, and just a reminder that you can catch Horizon and American Saga in theaters on Friday. Always a great interview with our Kevin, and now talking to another Kevin.